All right, what is up, Utah fans? This is Joseph back with the Utah Utes Football Digest, and Utah just got a commitment from Creed Whittemore or Whittemore, however you say it. Very exciting pickup. This is a kid that was very touted out of high school, and we could be getting a really good one here, guys. I'm excited to dive in with you and break it down. We're going to check out everything we can. We're going to break him down. We'll talk about it. Before we do so, please do smash that like button. That's going to help get the video out to more Utah fans. Also, comment down below after we look into everything and break the kid down. What do you think of him? Is he an immediate impact guy? Is he more of a high, like long-term potential guy? I want to know. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, we put out a ton of Utah Utes football content. So if that's your thing, make sure you subscribe and stick around. One last thing, the show is a part of the 1012 network. 1012 network sponsored by Charlie Hustle. Check out the gear. CharlieHustle.com. Use code 101215 at checkout for 15% off any non-sale items. Really, really great stuff. Great quality clothes. Charlie Hustle, if you're listening, send me some more free gear. That'd be awesome. It really is great stuff, and I wear it all the time. And then let's go ahead and dive in, and let's take a look at Creed Whittemore. Okay, guys, and here he is, Creed Whittemore. So this is his 24/7 sports profile. So take a look here, guys. Two things to point out. 88 overall right here. That's a pretty high 3-star ranking, right? Not quite 4 stars, but starting to play around in that realm. Number 28 wide receiver in the transfer portal, number 119 player overall. But what I think is really impressive, guys, is take a look at this. Just 2 years ago, he was in the 2023 recruiting class. So he came out with like Matt Howard in that recruiting class. So he was a very sought after player, a 94 rating coming out of high school, the number 8 athlete in the country, the number 137 player nationally, and the number 32 player out of Florida. Scrolling down here, this is from Andrew Ivins, director of scouting for 24/7 Sports. This is in 2022. They have him projected as a 4th to 7th round draft pick in the NFL draft, a quarterback on Friday nights that's oftentimes one of the best, if not the best athletes on the field, has spent the past 2 years directing a spread option attack to near perfection, having accounted for over 4,000 yards of total offense and nearly 50 touchdowns. Serves up an adequate deep ball and is being recruited by at least one FBS program to take snaps at the next level. Obviously, he was recruited by a lot more, but is viewed by most as a wide receiver at the next level, given his ability to change directions and make people miss in the open field. Runs with plenty of pace and tempo once outside of the pocket. More importantly, seems to always find holes and creases in a defense and can navigate his way out of trouble with swift little cuts and an elite start-stop burst. So a lot to like here, guys. And now let's go ahead and scroll up. Taking a look at Creed Whittemore. Again, this guy just committed to Utah. So this is his recruiting profile out of high school. Take a look here, guys. Like I said, 4-star player, a bunch of great offers: Stanford, Nebraska, Clemson, Auburn, West Virginia, UCF, Wake Forest, Texas A&M, Penn State, Michigan, Miami, Florida, Mississippi State, and he winds up actually committing to Mississippi State. So super exciting prospect. And I think that extra layer of context is really nice to know that he's on top of the fact that he has played wide receiver at the D1 level. And we're going to dive into his PFF grades here in a minute, but he was also a superstar quarterback at a high school. I'm excited to see how we could play around with this. I mean, this offense uses running quarterbacks like none other. And if he was a really high-end running quarterback at a high school, the possibilities feel kind of endless, right? How creative could we get with this guy? And not to mention, a lot of how this offense uses wide receiver is get it to him short and let them make a play, which could be a little more his fit, right? You remember that scouting profile we just read. He's great in the open field. He makes people miss. Okay, you got to scheme ways to get the ball in his hands. This is a great offense to do that. So next, we'll go ahead and dive into the PFF grades. But so far, very exciting prospect. Again, one of the top prospects in the country coming out of high school, and still a good transfer grade at 88. Excited to dive in, break him down more. He actually did play a good amount of snaps at Mississippi State. Okay, guys, and here is an article from 24/7 Sports to give us a little more context on him. You can see it says Devin Dampier got a new target, and Creed Whittemore. As a portal player, Whittemore is rated an 88, like we talked about, making him a 3-star player. He was the 28th best wide receiver in the portal. At 5'11, 185, Whittemore brings speed and an interesting background to the Utah wide receiver room. Whittemore played quarterback in high school, but made the move to wide receiver when he stepped on campus at Mississippi State in 2023. He competed in track and field in high school, mainly doing long jumps and sprints. During his time with the Bulldogs, he appeared in 16 games with 5 career starts. He has 167 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns with an average of 11 yards per reception. What makes the addition even more intriguing is that Whittemore was used in the Bulldogs rushing game, recording 101 rushing yards, including a long of 41 yards. That long rush went for a touchdown, bringing his rushing total to 2 while with Mississippi State. So he had 2 rushing touchdowns while with Mississippi State. With Utah losing their speedy slot receivers this offseason, it looks promising that Whittemore could be the one to slide into that role for the Utes. Whittemore becomes the 4th player to commit to Utah, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so that's just a little more context from 24/7 Sports. So he's proven it as a receiver and a running back at the college level, and it was at Mississippi State. Now, no further ado, let's dive into PFF and look at what he actually did at Mississippi State. Take a deeper look. Okay, guys, so here he is, Creed Whittemore, and this is from his time at Mississippi State. So this is 2023, so not this past year, but the one before that. You can see here he got a decent amount of snaps. Never like played a ton of snaps in one game, but was always getting in for some reps in every game. So good look there. And this is his rushing numbers down here. So 34 snaps, 1 carry for 41 yards in 2024 running the ball. And that was one giant run that went for the 41 yards and a touchdown. And then in 2023, 68 snaps, 3 carries for 61 yards and 1 touchdown. This kid's averaging nearly 30 yards a carry. Or something like that. Yeah. So 61, 41, 25 yards a carry. He has 4 carries in college football, and one of them's for 41 yards, and he's averaging 25 yards a carry. You got to ask yourself, why wasn't Mississippi State using this kid more? Let's go ahead and dive in. Let's take a look at the receiving numbers. Actually, I'd like to look at this. Yeah, look at that. Two of his 4 carries went for more than 15 yards. And again, 4 carries for basically 102 yards. Awesome numbers. Receiving, let's take a look at that. Boom. Okay. Receiving numbers, four targets, 4 catches in 2024 for 65 yards. 14 targets for 11 catches in 2023. You got to love that. He's not dropping passes. It's a limited sample size, right? It's not a ton of reps, but you got to like that. And check this out, guys. So I think this is worth pointing out. So his grade, he had 106 snaps in the slot in 2023. And then in 2024, he had 42 snaps out wide and only 16 snaps in the slot. So I would just say this, just looking at it. Actually, I'm going to hold my opinions till I give you guys my final breakdown here in a minute. But you look at that guy's yak per reception, damn. So he had 4 receptions and averaged 7 yards of yak on each reception. I mean, those are good numbers, guys, with a long pass or a long reception of 26 yards. So I'm going to end this there, and then I'm going to give you guys my final thoughts on Creed Whittemore. Okay, so I'm going to recap kind of what the numbers and what the information we have in front of us tells us. We are getting a guy that was a straight stud out of high school, right? Beast quarterback. Reminds me a lot of a more sought after Britton Covey, right? A guy that killed it at quarterback in high school and then going to the next level had to switch to wide receiver. And on top of that, I would go as far as to say, seemingly significantly more athletic than Britton Covey when you factor in like size and stuff like that. I mean, Britton Covey was great, but this kid seems like the potential compared to Britton Covey might be a little higher, which don't get me wrong, Britton Covey is awesome, but this kid has a very high ceiling. And basically he went to college. He played wide receiver at Mississippi State for the past 2 years. They've been trying to work him in. They couldn't quite make it fit. I absolutely love his fit in our team from the New Mexico fit. Like I mentioned, guys, the New Mexico receivers thrived last year in yards after catch. And I think our proven track record to take a guy like a Whittemore, aka Britton Covey, and develop that guy over time and use what he has, right? Use what he has to make him great. And on top of our proven track record to do so, now we're bringing in a coordinator in Jason Beck that likes this type of guy, the type of guy that you throw it to him, let him break a tackle, let him get upfield. That's what his offense is designed to do. Not to mention, his offense is centered around a rushing quarterback. Remember that. I'm not saying that this guy is being brought in to play quarterback, but what I am saying is Jason Beck has a guy that is averaging 25 yards a carry. It's only on 4 carries, but 25 yards per carry in the SEC, right? And he killed it at quarterback in high school, just gashing people running the ball. And so you got to ask yourself, is that an underlying part of this? Yes, absolutely. Right. The creative ways you can use this guy in wide receiver reverses, the creative ways you could use him as a wildcat quarterback. I love it. I love it. I think this is a great fit. Throw him some, little bubble screens, throw him some, peak screens, that sort of deal. I love this fit. I think Creed Whittemore is going to be a great asset to this offense. Again, is he going to come in and automatically be a game changer for the Utah team? Maybe, right? Maybe. I think that's there. I think the numbers would tell you it might not be when you look at it at face value. When you dig a little deeper and you see how, like, his average yaks per reception, right? Yak per reception, the average yards per rush, very good signs, very quality player we're picking up here, and a guy that has a ceiling to be extremely deadly. I would say this, I would temper my expectations, right? Where if he comes in and goes for like 300 yards, that's probably the most realistic scenario. But maybe 300 yards receiving with another 200 yards rushing the ball if we use him correctly, right? Could he go for 500 yards receiving with three to 500 yards running the ball? Absolutely. I think it's a very cool, exciting guy to bring in. And worst case, we have some injuries at quarterback and guys can't run the offense. He has potential to move over there and fill in there. I really like what we're seeing. I wouldn't be surprised to see him getting wildcat reps and potentially competing for QB reps. I mean, when I saw that, my mind immediately said, okay, so this is a guy that ran the ball as a quarterback in high school. That's what this offense thrives with. Could he come in and do that? I want to know what you guys are thinking. I think this is a very fun prospect and a guy that I expect Jason Beck to involve in this offense and give a lot of opportunities. My guess is we see him get the ball this coming year at least 25 to 30 times. I really like it. I think it'll be a shame if we can't find a way to plug him into this offense to make something happen. I like it. Creed, if you're watching, excited to have you. Utah fans, if you're watching, like the video. That'll help get it out to more Utah fans. Also comment down below. What do you guys think of Creed? What type of immediate and long-term impact is he going to have? And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, we put out a ton of Utah Utes football content. So if you're into it, stick around for the ride. I'm out of here. Go Utes.